Hello, family. This is your friend Kenisha, and welcome to another episode of TransFormNation Thursday. This is an opportunity where we can talk about how can we transform ourselves, our community, our families, our jobs, our city, this nation, and this world. We change us. We talk about that on Tuesdays. And now, how can we go out and be a different and make an impact upon this world? So last Thursday, we talked about emotional intelligence, emotional quotient. We did our review. And so this week, we're moving on to a new series all about this word called crisis. And so on Tuesday, we talked about coming out of this crisis alive. And let me read to you the definition of crisis. It's this: a time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger. And we know that in our world, and specifically in America, we're going through a trifold crisis with COVID-19. I mean, there are people who have lost their lives. They've lost their livelihood, and they've lost the opportunity to be able to socialize. In my state, we're still on quarantine. We're not able to go to social gatherings. For me, not being able to go to church because of the large building. So that's a crisis. Another one that we're going through, this racial unrest with the murdering of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and many other African Americans in public view, and the injustices that we feel like because there's a racial divide that has always been around, but it is currently now in the forefront. How many of you know that is a crisis? And then we think about this political unrest. We have leaders in the wonderful country of America that are no longer representing the people, but they're representing themselves or political agendas. So we are in a multiplistic arena of crisis. So here's my thought. We want to make sure that we are helping others come out of this crisis alive. And I don't just mean the three crises that I just talked about, but on top of that, there are individuals that are going through their own personal crisis in their family with losing of jobs that has nothing to do with the pandemic, with maybe losing of relationships, divorce, death, devastation, destruction. All sorts of things are happening, but they've been happening all along. So how do we help others come out of this crisis? I've read several articles. Here's one. This one is called Mental Health First Aid: How to Help Someone in Crises by Judy Schwartz Haley. And there are several different steps, and we want to make sure that we are noticing. Before we can help someone out of the crisis, we have to make sure that we notice if they're in one. And here's a couple of steps. We have to know the signs. If you hear someone that is speaking of harm, self-harm, and they're always derogative towards themselves and talking about how they should no longer be here, that is an indicator that this person may need some help. Be aware, be alert. If there's a recent traumatic experience that you know someone has gone through and that you have influence over or with, be mindful, be alert, be watchful, in case we need to provide support. If there's someone who has extreme mood swings, now, some of you have had mood swings to the extremity for all of your life. I'm not talking about you, although that is a crisis for the ones who are on the ends of your mood swings. But what I'm talking about is a changing of personality. When there's a distinctive difference, be mindful. Notice the signs. If someone is withdrawing from life, someone who perhaps was very active, and again, I don't mean because of the pandemic, but someone who was active in calling and texting and showing up to work and coming on time and being a part of things virtually or in person, and there's a complete withdrawal, be mindful. They may need you to help them out of their crisis. And then if someone is sleeping too much or not enough, now, again, we're not talking about that's their normal style. Be mindful of all of these steps. So here's our probing question. After taking an inventory of the people that you have in your influence, have you noticed any of these signs in anybody? And if you have, are you going to commit to help them come out of their crisis? Hey, this is your friend Kenisha. I love you. Let's get out alive. Have a great day.